Nature is rational. Throughout the history of Stoicism and Stoic practices, there's been an abundance of criticism and questioning behind the historic and ancient system of teachings. This criticism has inspired defenders of this ancient system of thought. Throughout philosophy, debate is natural, and questions are always raised. So, what questions may be critiqued? Perhaps beginning with the pillars of Stoicism, with the question of the rationality of nature. When put in those terms, the teaching can often sound daunting or difficult. But when broken down, it's a clear explanation of simple logic. It's a belief we use so frequently in our day-to-day life, sometimes without question or knowing. So, what is the definition rational, and how do we judge rationality in a philosophical landscape? In philosophy, rationality implies the conformity of one's beliefs with one's reason to believe. Rational philosophers argue that all knowledge can be understood through the process of reasoning, and this reasoning is where nature comes to light. Aurelius wrote that we think of the life you have lived until now as over, and as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus, and live it according to nature. Love the hand that fate deals you, and play it as your own, for what could be more fitting? The aims and goals of a Stoic are more simple than initially thought. Many of the essential thoughts root from the idea that we as humans must learn to live in agreement with nature. In simple terms, this makes perfect sense. When applied to a more general context, we do this all the time. We are all constituted by nature, consumed by nature. When we step outside, what do we see around us? Trees, plants, singing birds, animals, a light breeze, the shimmering sun. Our mind, our actions, our existence is fueled from the roots of nature. These roots are therefore intended to guide us towards good. When we look around us, each living thing has a purpose, a set of actions it must fulfill. The wind pollinates, the trees photosynthesize, producing oxygen, taking in carbon dioxide. Species construct our biodiversity, each individual animal with unique and distinct features that aid in the fulfillment of nature. Each living thing is governed by nature. The Stoics believe that in order to achieve eudaimonia, we must live in agreement with this nature. Eudaimonia is a Greek word commonly translated as happiness or welfare. In order to reach this fulfillment, we have to understand the function of nature. Nature as a term is multivalent, meaning there's branches of interpretations and meanings. As a multivalent concept, it offers us a broader range of understanding, a better opportunity to identify with one or more of its definitions. We have the opportunity to contextualize the meaning of nature in our own individual lives. Nature could be a goal, a sense of finality that provides motivation. It could link closely with cosmic nature, looking at the bigger picture of the universe and the universe's purpose and bigger picture. Or it could mean fate, focusing on the future and what has already been planned out for us. Whichever definition is chosen, each one holds the ultimate power to guide us towards good or eudaimonia. So how does this link to reason and rationality? Looking back at the previous interpretations and the idea of divine purpose or the universe's intentions, we have to look at our individual purposes. The nature, for instance, of plants is very different to that of rocks or sand. By embracing the singular purpose, we are embracing or living in accordance with nature. By fulfilling our human nature, we naturally strive towards good, striving towards eudaimonia. When completing our broadening of this purpose, we are given the opportunity to flourish and prosper. But what is the purpose? The Stoics didn't think of human beings as the strongest, able to hunt, or the fastest, able to flee. The capability of humans came from our unique ability to reason. By living in agreement with nature, we are living in agreement with our unique endowment and purpose, which is to reason, and with that be rational. Ask questions, make decisions, answer, plead, improve and embrace. Reason in a philosophical context is the ability to draw logical inferences, and that power can only be embraced by us. A Roman orator, lawyer, statesman and philosopher was a firm believer of this idea of reason. He believed that the gods had also provided human beings with the gift of reason. He wrote that the good in life is what is complete according to nature for a rational being. So how can we interpret this to be relevant now? How can this teaching potentially aid us in our endeavours now? I think by narrowing it down to a concept of purpose, we begin to see the alignment with modern thinkers. Viktor Frankl, a famous psychologist, Holocaust survivor and Stoic, spoke passionately on the search for meaning. He states that our main motivation for living is our will to find meaning in life. Frankl valued satisfaction and fulfillment in his life more than anything. He believed that finding this meaning offered this sense of satisfaction and good that we so desperately search for in life. Without meaning, he argued, people tend to find the gaps with vices such as addictions, pleasures, distractions, materialism, hedonism and depression. Frankl tells us that success shouldn't be a main goal, but instead occur as a side effect of pursuing one's meaning. The freedom only worth having, Frankl proposes, is the freedom that is coupled with responsibility. Clearly the two teachings don't completely align, but the notion of responsibility, purpose and happiness stand out. It all ultimately comes down to the perusal of good, eudaimonia. Overall, the concept of nature, reason and rationality all feed into a primitive belief of purpose. A purpose that cannot be outdated, because it's adaptable and therefore is changing all the time. So this question of relevance is clear, whether one version is different to the next. Nature remains rational.